With the Omicron virus on the prowl, India is stepping up its preparedness and restrictions. 2 days after positive cases were detected in Karnataka, the state is tightening its rules and its guidelines. Events and educational institutes have been postponed till 2022, till January 15 next year. People will be allowed into theatres, multiplexes and malls only if they are fully vaccinated. The Karnataka government has also assured that 10 foreigners who arrived in Bengaluru with a travel history from South Africa will be tracked down. In Rajasthan, 9 members of a family tested positive for COVID after 4 members returned from a trip to South Africa. The samples taken from the patients have been sent for genome sequencing in Jaipur. In Maharashtra, the samples of 25 international passengers and 3 of their close contacts have been sent for genomic sequencing to Mumbai's Kasturba Hospital. Meanwhile, the centre has said while there is no evidence to suggest that existing vaccines do not work on this variant. After reporting 2 cases of Omicron in Bengaluru, Karnataka is on high alert. The state government has imposed curbs on large gatherings and only fully vaccinated people are going to be allowed to visit malls and theatres. Delhi, Rajasthan and Maharashtra too are reporting suspected cases of Omicron. Here's our top focus.
Strict travel rules, new curbs on large gatherings. A day after Bengaluru reported 2 cases of Omicron, the super mutant first detected in South Africa, India is taking measures to check the virus spread. The government of Karnataka, the first state to report Omicron, held a high-level meet to review the state's preparedness.
We are very alarmed and cautious. Our duty is now to see that not only these 2 persons, otherwise also to track and trace such strains wherever it is found and their contacts.
Amid the growing fear of Omicron, the Karnataka government has imposed new curbs in the state.
The culture activities, fest functions in all education institutes should be postponed till 15th January 2022. The entry to mall, cinema theatre shall be allowed only the person who have vaccinated with 2 doses of COVID vaccine.
Tracing contacts and travellers from abroad, however, is proving to be a big challenge. 10 foreigners who have been to Africa and arrived in Bengaluru recently are untraceable.
You can't switch off because you are positive and spread to your near and dear ones and the people whom you do not know. Please be brave enough, please be open and share the information. So, the government will do its best to treat you, to ensure you that you are completely free from this infection.
In Maharashtra, 28 samples are being tested for Omicron, including 10 from Mumbai. In Delhi, 12 patients are being tested. Rajasthan too is on alert after 9 members of 2 families have been tested positive. 4 of these family members have recently returned from South Africa. In Uttar Pradesh's Lucknow, 2 women are being tested for Omicron. In Tamil Nadu's Trichy, 1 passenger who has travelled from Singapore tested COVID positive. The sample has been sent for genome sequencing. 1 suspected case of Omicron has also been reported in Hyderabad. The central government has assured citizens the country is ready to tackle the threat posed by Omicron.
बच्चों और बूस्टर डोज के संदर्भ में हमारे एक्सपर्ट टीम ही तय करेगी और जो भी मार्गदर्शन हमारे एक्सपर्ट और साइंटिफिक हमें मार्गदर्शन मिलेगा, इस साइंटिफिक मार्गदर्शन के आधार पर हम आगे चलेंगे। ये मेरा क्लियर पार्लियामेंट के फ्लोर पर रिप्लाई है।
Unlike the second wave, experts say India is now better placed to fight the new variant. Nearly 50% of the population above the age of 18 are fully vaccinated. While vaccines may not stop infections, experts say they will prevent serious disease and death. Bureau Report, India Today.
And the new COVID-19 variant Omicron has sparked off global concerns. More than 29 countries have reported cases so far, including India. The WHO, the World Health Organization, has called it a variant of concern. Will Omicron be wreaking the same kind of havoc as Delta had done in the second wave in India? The government of India says it is armed for a worst-case scenario and that the Indian population has been exposed to Delta variant and has fair amount of immunity to fight against Omicron. Here's more. The Omicron variant of coronavirus is in India. But do not panic. The government is armed for a worst-case scenario. That's the double-barreled message to citizens from the government. You're wondering why the government advises against panic this time? There are reasons. First, the government says the Indian population has been exposed to the deadly Delta variant of coronavirus and has significant immunity. The Health Ministry has been specific on this count, saying that given the fast pace of vaccination in India and high exposure to Delta variant, as evidenced by high seropositivity, the severity of the disease is anticipated to be low. The Indian Council of Medical Research's last sero survey done to assess the level of antibodies in the Indian population says that 67% of India's population above the age of 6 has been exposed to COVID-19. The Indian Council of Medical Research surveyed 36,227 people across 21 states in June and July this year and found that 2 out of 3 has antibodies. But while there's cautious optimism on India's ability to perhaps handle Omicron better, the government is clear that scientific evidence is still evolving. Experts agree, but the permanent disclaimer when dealing with COVID, that caution can never leave the building.
A large number of people who are living in India have been vaccinated, and some others have been naturally infected, and a significant overlap has occurred between the two, which means that some people who've been naturally infected have also received vaccination, which leads to something called hybrid immunity. So if new variants spread in India, it will be mostly the unvaccinated people who are at greater risk.
We need not worry much about this Omicron right now. The reason is this virus is mild, as such the data shows. Second, we need to get a lot of information more about this Omicron, about the disease severity, as well as the drug efficacies and all.
India is also deriving solace from the fact that unlike the beginning of this year when the second wave of COVID had gripped the country and India's pace of vaccinations was rather sluggish, the situation is different now. The pace now has picked up.
घर घर दस्तक एक टीकाकरण अभियान देश में स्टेट के साथ मिलकर शुरू किया। इसी एफर्ट्स के चलते हमने देखा है कि पिछले एक माह में देश में फर्स्ट डोज का कवरेज करीब 5.9% के करीब बढ़ा है।
While uncertainty around Omicron continues on many fronts, the government says they are taking no chances and gearing up for the worst, given Omicron has 2 times the number of spike mutations than the Delta variant that continues to be the most dominant variant in the world. In New Delhi, Sneha Mordani for India Today. Now, with the growing fear of new COVID-19 variant Omicron, Rahul Gandhi has questioned India's vaccine strategy. Rahul Gandhi on Friday said that the current vaccines in the country might just not work against the new COVID variant. Rahul has said that India might have to vaccinate everyone again with a booster shot. This is not the first time that the former Congress president has launched a veiled attack on the government and questioned its vaccine strategy. On the 27th of November, Rahul took to Twitter and said central government can't hide bad vaccination figures for a long time. A new COVID variant is a serious threat to India. However, in an exclusive conversation with India Today, WHO Chief Scientist Dr. Soumya Swaminathan said clinical studies are still underway to find out whether vaccines are working against Omicron or not. WHO Chief has also said that vaccines developed so far have been effective against the mutated variants of COVID. Mamata Banerjee continues to launch a tirade against the Congress after her bold proclamation that UP is now non-existent. TMC has yet again hit out at the Grand Old Party in party mouthpiece Jago Bangla, saying that Congress is in deep freezer. Here's more.
Congress in deep freezer. Congress leaders only tweet but don't stage demonstrations. Mamata is the most popular and acceptable opposition face. The Trinamool versus Congress war has escalated and exploded. There is no end to the Trinamool's tirade against the Grand Old Party. In the freshest attack, the Trinamool party's mouthpiece says that the Congress is in a deep freeze, this in an editorial in Jago Bangla. The editorial claims that the Congress has locked itself in a deep freeze despite being the largest opposition party. In an attack on Rahul Gandhi, the Trinamool says that instead of organizing people's movements, Congress netas are happily tweeting. The article also mentions internal squabbling that has divided the Congress party. The article also reiterates that Mamata is the most popular and acceptable opposition face. The Congress is now furious with the Trinamool, accusing Mamata's party of joining hands with the BJP.
वो बीजेपी पार्टी को दिया हुआ हुक्का पी रहे हैं तो क्या करें? उनको कुछ नहीं दिखाई देते हैं। ये सारे बयानबाजी इसलिए हो रहे हैं कि मोदी जी को खुश रखना चाहिए। अब बताओ, अंकगणित को अगर जरा सा भी उनका ज्ञान रहे और उनकी पार्टी की रही तो ये बताए कि 4% वोट लेकर वो मोदी जी को सत्ता से कैसे हटाइए, ये अंकगणित बताइए।
But the party mouthpiece calls the BJP communal, undemocratic, anti-people and anti-farmer and called for an alternate coalition. The TMC says the need of the hour is to defeat the BJP. But it is the Trinamool's attacks on the Congress which have raised eyebrows as Mamata rallies Sharad Pawar and other regional leaders to build opposition unity. The BJP, though, is not worried. Minister Nitin Gadkari, speaking at Agenda Aaj Tak 2021 on Friday, dismissed any possible threat to the BJP from Mamata and Sharad Pawar.
देखो, राहुल गांधी जी और कांग्रेस ममता जी पर सवाल खड़े कर रहे हैं या ममता जी उनके ऊपर सवाल खड़े कर रहे हैं, इसका दोनों क्यों खड़े कर रहे हैं, इसका जवाब वो दोनों दे सकते हैं। और दोनों के बिहाफ मुझे तो कोई एजेंसी नहीं मिली कि ऑन देयर बिहाफ में क्या जवाब दूं।
आपको बड़ा प्रतिद्वंदी कौन लगता है? ताकतवर
दोनों भले एक हो जाए, भारतीय जनता पार्टी सब पे भारी है और सब एक हो जाएंगे तो हम ही जीतेंगे, ये मैं विश्वास के साथ बताता हूं।
The Trinamool's latest attack comes after Mamata met NCP chief Sharad Pawar on Thursday and called the Congress a weak link. She even questioned Rahul Gandhi's style of politics, saying he stays abroad most of the time.
It is clear at this point in time that the Trinamool Congress wants to position and establish itself as a principal opposition force against the Modi regime. And therefore, the Trinamool Congress believes that fresh from the success of the Bengal elections, it is but Mamata Banerjee who has the authority and the right to stake claim to that position and lead the opposition coalition against the BJP. This is Indrajit reporting from New Delhi for India.
Samajwadi Party chief Akhilesh Yadav has come out blazing all guns at the Congress while addressing a rally in UP's Bundelkhand. The former UP chief minister said his old alliance partner Congress would get 0 seats in the upcoming elections. Hitting out at the Grand Old Party, Akhilesh added that people will not vote for Congress. This even after Akhilesh and Rahul were seen campaigning together in the 2017 elections after entering in a pre-poll alliance. Remember, Akhilesh has made it clear that his party is not going to form an alliance with any big party this time. They will only work with the smaller parties to take down the BJP. Well, the Samyukt Kisan Morcha, the umbrella body of farmer unions, is going to hold a crucial full-body meeting today at 11 a.m. The meeting at the Singhu border is to decide the future course of the agitation. In spite of withdrawal of the 3 contentious farm laws, farmers' agitation continues on the borders of Delhi after the repeal. SKM has raised 6 key demands, including the centre's commitment on minimum support price, along with withdrawal of cases filed against farmers during the course of the agitation. They've also demanded compensation for those who died. SKM has made it clear that this agitation is not going to be called off till the time the government is not ready to address all of these issues. A split has also been seen between the Haryana and the Punjab farmers, while Haryana farmers have refused to leave till the time the demands are not met. Punjab farmers have indicated that they might actually go home if talks begin on the issue of MSP. A day ahead of the meeting, SKM issued a statement saying it still hasn't received any reply from the government over its previous letter. The statement has reiterated that they want that all cases lodged against the farmers in various states be taken back. It also said that even BJP governments and states are looking for an indication from the union government to engage on various issues.